Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into programmatic advertising today. It's this, well, incredibly fast, sometimes kind of mysterious automated engine, right? And it fuels most digital ad spending now. But for a lot of people, even those working near the space, it feels like this complex, sort of opaque black box. So our mission today, really digging into the sources you shared, is to pull back that curtain. We want to get beyond just the acronyms. We need to understand the basic plumbing, how digital ads actually get bought and sold automatically. And importantly, the strategy behind different deal types and why this whole automated system pretty much took over from the old manual way.
Yeah, that shift is really the core thing to grasp first. Programmatic, fundamentally, it's defined by using automation, using machine learning to buy and sell digital ad space. And the context here is, well, it's crucial. Think about the old way. Advertisers had to manually negotiate every single deal, talk prices, sign contracts, send ad orders to each publisher separately. That was slow, it needed human sales teams, and it just couldn't keep up when the internet exploded with content and users.
Right. So we basically went from, handshakes and maybe insertion orders over fax
Pretty much.
to something that feels way more like, I don't know, a high-frequency stock market.
That's a great analogy, actually.
The promise then, fundamentally, must be about efficiency, but also about scale.
Absolutely. The automation aims to make sure a publisher gets the best possible price for every visitor, every ad slot. And on the flip side, the advertiser wants to ensure their budget is only spent reaching the exact person they're targeting. And this all happens, almost instantly. It's like personalized media buying, but done by machines.
Okay, so if it's all automated, you obviously need some pretty smart tools running things on both sides, right? Billions of transactions daily, you said. Let's start with the buyers, the advertisers. What are they using?
So advertisers use what are called demand-side platforms, DSPs. You can think of the DSP as like the advertiser's command center or their strategic brain, maybe. It's where they put in their budget, define what they want the campaign to achieve, and this is key input, really specific targeting criteria. Things like demographics, user behaviors, interests, the profile of the exact person they want their ad to reach.
And what's interesting there, based on the sources, is the power dynamic shift. In the old days, the publisher sort of owned the audience access. But now, the DSP lets the advertiser bring their own data, maybe layer on third-party data. So the DSP ends up holding enormous targeting power, sometimes even more than the publisher knows about their own visitor.
That's a really sharp point. Precisely. The advertiser can target based on data the publisher might not even have access to. Now, for the publishers, the sellers of the ad space, they use supply-side platforms, or SSPs. So if the DSP is the buyer's brain, the SSP is kind of like the publisher's automated sales manager or yield manager. They connect the publisher's ad inventory, they set minimum price at floor prices, and they make that ad space available out there to all the potential buyers using DSPs, their main goal. Maximize revenue they get from every single ad impression they have available.
Okay, so the DSP is out shopping for specific people, and the SSP is managing the shelves, making the space available. But how do these two, massive separate systems actually connect and trade in real time? That seems like the crucial link.
Right, that's where the ad exchanges come into play. Think of the ad exchange as the digital marketplace, the matchmaker. It's the standardized place where DSPs and SSPs connect to trade. And this is where that incredible speed happens. When you, the user, visit a website, the publisher's SSP instantly sends out something called a bid request. It's just a tiny bit of data. It basically says, hey, I've got this specific ad slot on this page being viewed by this type of user profile right now.
Okay.
That request goes straight to the ad exchange. The exchange then blasts it out to all the DSPs that might be interested in that user, that profile. They follow standard rules, protocols like OpenRTB, so everyone speaks the same language. The DSPs then super quickly calculate how much that impression is worth to them based on the likelihood you'll click or convert or whatever their goal is. They send their bid back through the exchange to the SSP. Highest bid wins.
And here's the part that always blows my mind when I read about this, that whole cycle. The request going out, DSPs thinking, bidding, the winner being chosen, the ad being sent back, that happens in what?
Milliseconds. Often under 100 milliseconds.
Curiously, less than a tenth of a second.
Yeah, seriously. It's faster than you can blink. It happens while the page is still loading for you.
Wow.
The reason that's even possible is because everything's so standardized, the communication protocols, plus massive, massive server power dedicated just to making these split-second decisions using data about users that's often stored and ready to go.
Okay, that speed is just staggering. But look, if that super fast open auction is the default, Why would things get more complicated? Because our sources definitely show it's not just one type of programmatic deal. There seem to be, what, 4 main ways these transactions happen, differentiated by price and access.
Exactly. There are different flavors, different models, based on the needs of the buyer and seller. We can start with the one we just described in detail, real-time bidding, or RTB. That is the most common one. It's the open auction. Think of it as the public marketplace. Pretty much any advertiser can bid, any publisher can offer inventory. It gives incredible reach and often cost efficiency because the price is set by pure supply and demand right there in the moment. But the trade-off is maybe less control for the buyer over exactly where the ad shows up sometimes, and the publisher doesn't know the final price until the auction closes.
Okay, so RTB is wide open, but then sometimes buyers want more certainty or access to the really good stuff, right? That leads to private marketplaces, PMPs.
Precisely. PMPs move from an open option to a private one. It's like a velvet rope. The key difference is only specific invited advertisers can bid. The publisher controls who gets in.
Okay, so it's more exclusive.
Right. Publishers often use PMPs for their premium inventory, maybe the big banner on the homepage, or ads alongside their most popular articles. It creates a bit of scarcity, a premium feel. Advertisers usually pay a bit more than in the open RTB auction.
But they get better placement and more control over the context.
Exactly. More brand safety, more control over where their ads appear.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have open auctions, private auctions. What else? You mentioned moving away from bidding entirely.
Correct. The next type is Programmatic Direct, sometimes called Programmatic Guaranteed. This one bypasses the real-time auction completely. It's a non-auction model. Here, the advertiser and publisher negotiate and agree on a deal up front, a fixed price for a fixed, guaranteed volume of impressions over a set time.
So it's more like the old way, but automated.
Kind of. The negotiation is often still quite manual or direct, but the delivery and management of the campaign are automated using the programmatic pipes. The focus here is on stability and guaranteeing delivery. Advertisers lock in their costs and know they'll get the impressions. But the trade-off, maybe for the publisher, is if market prices suddenly shoot up, they might have sold that guaranteed inventory too cheap. And for the advertiser, they lose some flexibility.
Right, locked in. Okay, one more type mentioned was preferred deals. How does that fit in?
Preferred deals are interesting. They're sort of a hybrid, also bypassing the initial auction. What happens is the publisher offers specific inventory to a specific advertiser at a fixed price before it goes to the open auction. It's like giving them first refusal.
Like a first look.
Exactly, sometimes called first look. The advertiser sees the offer, sees the price. If they like it, they buy it right there. Done deal. If they pass, maybe the price is too high or it's not quite right, then that inventory immediately gets offered in the open RTB auction for everyone else to bid on.
So it gives the advertiser priority access without forcing them to commit, like programmatic guaranteed.
Precisely. Optionality for the buyer and a chance for the publisher to sell premium inventory quickly before it hits the wider market.
Okay, looking at those different deal types, RTB, PMP, direct, preferred, you really see how this ecosystem is built for, well, different strategies. So let's pull back a bit. What's the big picture payoff? Why did programmatic become so dominant? The advantages must be pretty significant.
Oh, they are. The first huge one is just raw efficiency and better cost management. Automating the buying and selling cuts out so much manual work, negotiations, paperwork, sending files back and forth. That efficiency directly leads to being more cost-effective. Buyers can find the right audience at the right price faster, stretching their budgets. Publishers can sell more of their inventory more quickly, maximizing their revenue.
And that efficiency must link straight to scalability, right? Being able to reach way more people across way more sites.
Absolutely. That's a massive advantage because it's automated and uses standard connections. Advertisers can buy ads and run campaigns across, thousands of different websites, apps, platforms all at the same time from one interface, their DSP.
You don't need separate deals with everyone.
Exactly. You manage global or national reach almost instantly. That's huge for growth.
And it's not just reach, it's smart reach. The precision aspect seems critical.
That's arguably the killer advantage. Programmatic relies heavily on data and machine learning to find and target very specific audiences. The goal is to show the most relevant ad possible to each individual user. And when ads are relevant, people are much more likely to engage with them, to click, to actually buy something. So you get higher engagement, better conversion rates.
Yeah.
It's moving away from just blasting ads out there, hoping someone sees it. It's surgical.
Right. Targeting the person, not just the website.
Ah.
And there's one more advantage mentioned, the learning and optimization loop.
Yes, that's vital. Because everything flows through these platforms, the DSPs and SSPs, you get immediate detailed data on how everything is performing. Which ads work, which audiences respond best, which sites deliver value. This constant feedback lets advertisers tweak their campaigns on the fly, adjust bids, change targeting, pause bad placements, and publishers can adjust their pricing, maybe create new PMP deals for valuable segments. It's this engine of continuous improvement that the old manual system just couldn't offer.
Okay, so the upsides are pretty clear. Efficiency, scale, precision, optimization. Hard to argue with that. But like any complex system, it's not perfect. The sources were also quite clear about the downsides, the trade-offs that advertisers and publishers really need to watch out for.
Definitely. And probably the biggest, most talked about challenge is a significant lack of transparency. Think about that chain we described. Advertiser does a DSP exchange, messes a pulse publisher. Plus, you often have data providers, verification vendors in there too. There are multiple hands in the pot, multiple intermediaries.
Taking a cut along the way.
Exactly. It's often called the tech tax. A dollar spent by the brand might only see, say, 50 or 60 cents actually reach the publisher who showed the ad. And because the chain is complex and automated, it can be really difficult for an advertiser to see exactly where their ad ran and precisely how much each intermediary charged. Auditing that flow is tough.
And that lack of transparency, combined with the sheer volume of automated traffic, seems to open the door wide for ad fraud.
Huge problem, yes. Programmatic systems are, unfortunately, quite susceptible to ad fraud. This can be fake websites set up just to show ads or sophisticated bots programmed to mimic real human clicks and views. They generate fake impressions.
Which means the advertiser pays for ads no real person ever saw.
Correct. And the consequences are, well, they're bad. It's not just wasted money, although that's significant. It also completely messes up your performance data. If you think bots are real customers clicking your ads, your optimization algorithms get trained on garbage data. It throws everything off.
So wasted money and bad decisions based on fake results. That's a double hit. Anything else on the drawback side?
Well, just the inherent complexity, especially with RTB. While the concept of automation is simple, actually managing large-scale campaigns effectively in that super-fast, dynamic RTD environment is technically very demanding. You really need specialized knowledge, maybe sophisticated tools beyond the basic DSP interface, just to compete effectively, optimize your bidding strategies, and navigate things like inventory quality checks and privacy rules.
So it's powerful, but it's not necessarily easy to master.
Not at all. There's a significant learning curve and often a need for dedicated expertise.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've seen how programmatic advertising fundamentally changed the game for digital ads, moving from those old, slow, manual deals to these incredibly fast, algorithm-driven transactions, governed by different strategic deal types, from the wide-open RTB auctions to the more controlled PMPs and guaranteed deals.
Yeah, and we saw the clear benefits driving that shift. Huge gains in efficiency, the ability to scale campaigns globally, and that incredible precision in targeting audiences using data and machine learning. But, as we just discussed, it comes with real challenges. That complex system creates transparency issues, the tech tax, and makes it vulnerable to costly ad fraud. So, success in programmatic really means understanding both sides, leveraging the powerful benefits while actively managing the inherent risks and complexities.
Which leaves us with a really interesting tension, doesn't it? If the ultimate promise of programmatic is using all this data, all this machine learning, to achieve maximum advertising precision, how does the industry truly square that goal with the fact that the very structure of the system, the multiple layers, the automation inherently creates this lack of transparency and opens the door to potentially fraudulent data, corrupting that precision? That push and pull between the goal of perfect targeting and the murky reality of the ad path, well, that seems like the critical challenge for anyone trying to truly master the digital advertising landscape today.